Now talk about glycogen metabolism. Now you have already done glycogen. You already know glycogen, and you already know glucose. So when is glycogen synthesis happen? When does glycogen synthesis happen? So do you remember? I told you to put the context, this 5 context question. I can call it context question. Do you remember that context questions? Why? Why does it happen? When? When does it happen? Where? Where does it happen? And then what are the enzymes, coenzymes? And then why, when, where, what? And last question is how does it happen? So 5 context questions. 5 context questions. How does it happen? So why does it happen? Glycogen to provide energy during fasting condition. When does it happen? Glycogen synthesis. When does glycogen synthesis happen? In fed or fasting condition? Obviously, when you eat, yes, when you eat, when you have high amount of glucose, then you will store, your body will store glucose. Otherwise, if you don't have very high amount of glucose, your body cannot store glucose. So during fed condition, glycogen synthesis will happen. But glycogen breakdown will happen when? Fasting condition. Which fasting? Fasting after 4 hours to, let's say, 20 hours. Actually 18 hours is most appropriate. So 18 hours. You can call it up to 1 day. In a rough way, you can call it up to 1 day. So glycogen sustain your body for up to 1 day. Then where does it happen? Glycogen synthesis. Where is glycogen present? The tissue where glycogen is present. In that tissue only glycogen synthesis and glycogen breakdown will happen. What are those tissue? Those tissue are hepatocyte and then myocyte. So these are the tissue where it will happen. So what are the enzymes and coenzymes? The enzyme of glycogen synthesis is very simple. We call it glycogen synthase. And the enzymes of glycogen breakdown, we call it phosphorylase. I have told you in enzyme topic only, phosphorylase. Do you remember this cartoon? Remember this cartoon?
Yes, sir.
So this is phosphorylase, using phosphate to break the bond. So this is phosphorylase, glycogen phosphorylase. Now we will talk here in detail about glycogen. How does it happen? We will talk about how does it happen. So it is a long answer for this question. So these are the main important. So you know that you have already got the context. So let's talk about fed condition. So fed condition, you already know fed condition means high insulin. Yes, high insulin. High insulin means high Ig ratio. Insulin is high, glucagon. We will use the terminology high Ig ratio in fed condition. Then there will be low CAMP, and this will cause dephosphorylation. So this is the fed condition. Environment inside the cell. Insulin will be outside the cell, but this is the environment inside the cell. Now what will happen? So here is your intestine. So you had food, you had food, and food will go into the intestine. It will digest, and this glucose will be absorbed here. After glucose being absorbed, what will happen? This glucose will enter into your tissue, liver. So take example, liver tissue. So how does it enter tissue? Through GLUT. In liver there is GLUT2. In muscle there is GLUT4. So you can say GLUT2, and then as soon as this glucose enter the tissue, so what happens is this glucose will be trapped because this glucose without phosphate is soluble, easily soluble, and it can come out of the cell and it will go inside the cell. So remember, this is a hepatocyte. Okay, though it is a structure of liver slim, but it is hepatocyte. So glucose will convert into glucose 6-phosphate. So this is the first reaction. Now, if you remember, I have told you from this 3 pathway happens. One is glycolysis. Second is glycogen synthesis, and this is pentose phosphate pathway. And don't forget this, through glycolysis, this is glycolysis, and glycolysis, if glycolysis is saturated, so what happens? Pyruvate will acetyl coenzyme convert into acetyl coenzyme. It will also convert fatty acid. So these are the events that happens during fat condition: fatty acid synthesis, glycogen synthesis, and then glycolysis. These are the activity that will happen. So you already know this. So after this, we will talk about this. This is done by glucokinase in liver. So you already understood up to this step. I will proceed from this glucose 6-phosphate. So glucose 6-phosphate, once glucose 6-phosphate is trapped inside cell, what will happen? So glucose 6-phosphate, because this glycogen synthesis uphill reaction means anabolic reaction, uphill reaction, and that is why I will prefer to draw it uphill reaction, so that you will have conceptually it will sound like it will have a meaning. Okay, conceptually it will sound good. So glucose 6-phosphate will actually convert into glucose 1-phosphate. What is this glucose 1-phosphate means? So which enzyme will convert this glucose 6-phosphate to glucose 1-phosphate? The enzyme that moves this phosphate group within the molecule from one place to other place is called mutase. So this is a mutase enzyme, and you can easily understand which mutase, phosphoglucomutase. So there is no any necessity to memorize this enzyme. If you remember the process, you will automatically memorize the enzyme name. So glucose phosphate position is being changed. Now, anything you have seen, I will give you one very conceptual overview. In DNA, in RNA, even in protein synthesis, you have seen only activated molecule polymerize. Even in your fatty acid synthesis, acetyl coenzyme is activated molecule. So only activated molecule polymerize. Only activated molecule will polymerize. For example, DNA, TP, NTP is there, DNTP is there. DNTP means deoxy, ATP, deoxy, GTP, deoxy, TTP, deoxy, CTP is there. In RNA, if you see there is NTP. NTP means ATP, GTP, CTP is there. In triphosphate, and this triphosphate form a monophosphate, 2-phosphate energy will be utilized to form bond. And if you can see in protein synthesis, there is amino acyl tRNA, and formation of amino acyl tRNA is called what? The process is called activation of amino acid. So you can see here all the process of polymerization are anabolic process, uphill process, and they happens by utilization of energy and by activated molecule. So this molecule is not an activated molecule. You can see this is not an activated molecule. This molecule has to bind with nucleotide. The nucleotide come here is UTP. Okay, the nucleotide has power of energy. This is the actually representative of energy. So your body, the nature has given all the energy with this nucleotide. So you can see UTP will come, and UTP will bind to this glucose, and this 2 high energy phosphate will be released in that process. So you can see this 2 high energy phosphate is equal to 14 kilocalorie of energy per mole. So this high amount of energy is utilized to convert this glucose 1-phosphate to UDP glucose. This is nucleotide glucose, UDP glucose. Now this is activated, and this activated molecule is ready for polymerization. So now after activation, there will be polymerization. But first stage of polymerization, as I have told you, with glycogenin. So this glycogenin, there will be first stage of polymerization will happen, autopolymerization. So there will be first will be autopolymerization. So few molecules will bind in the glycogenin. This is, let's consider this is glycogenin protein. So in that glycogenin, there will be few molecule of glucose will bind. After binding of this few molecule of glucose, then there comes enzyme called glycogen synthase. Glycogen synthase. So this glycogen synthase, as you have seen in DNA polymerase cannot start DNA synthesis the same way you can see glycogen synthesis cannot start glycogen synthesis. It requires a short polymer that is already bound to glycogenin. And in that sense, we sometimes take glycogenin as enzyme. And this glucose will bind to a very specific amino acid. You know this amino acid, very famous amino acid. You have studied tyrosine. The tyrosine amino acid is very famous amino acid. You must have studied tyrosine kinases. So this tyrosine, with this tyrosine, this glucose, few glucose will bind on this glucose. Then there will be polymerization of next glucose will happen on that glucose. So few glucoses are there, and then on that glucose there will be polymerization of next glucose by this glycogen synthase. And after formation of a long branch, at least 12, the chain of at least 12 glucose. So there will be a part of branch will be shifted here. So this branch, when this a part of this polysaccharide shifted here, and there will be formation of branch here. There will be formation of a branch here. And this branch formed by which enzyme? The branch formed by very simple, the name is very simple, branching enzyme. Now, did you get that? The synthesis of glycogen, did you get that?
Yes, sir.
So first enzyme is, first is mutase. It is an isomerase. The second step you can see in activation. Any molecule uphill reaction, you have to activate molecule for uphill reaction. Then after activation, the glycogenin, this glycogenin autopolymerization. The same way you have seen in DNA, there is a primase. You can like correlate this glycogenin like primase. So there will be synthesis of a short chain, and then comes glycogen synthase and branching. So how many enzymes? One enzyme. I have not taken one enzyme. So you can also take glucokinase here also. So from glucose to, you can remember the whole process here. Glucokinase, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 enzymes. But if you don't talk about glucokinase, there will be 5 enzymes involved. The most important enzyme, you can see all are important enzymes. The rate limiting enzyme is glycogen synthase. So this is glycogen synthesis. And glycogen synthesis is an uphill reaction. So opposite process, this happens in glycogen synthesis happens in fed condition. The opposite process, when glycogen is already been synthesized. Okay, glycogen is there. The opposite process is glycogenolysis. Okay, the opposite process is glycogenolysis. There is a polymer like this. So this is glycogen. Let's not talk all about this, the root of this glycogen. Let's not talk about that. So you don't require that in glycogen synthesis. So you can easily, but later you can easily conceptualize that. More important thing, I'll tell you that. A very important concept I will tell you that. Just imagine this enzyme sitting here. Okay, sitting here and on the branch and then cutting this bond by utilizing phosphate group. Can you imagine this?
Yes, sir.
So this enzyme will cut first this, and then glucose will be released. and then with this phosphate it will cut this, glucose will be released, and then it will shift back. It cuts this glucose and it will shift back. It actually shifts back. This enzyme, the phosphorylase enzyme, shifts back, and then it will cut here, it will cut here, and then there will be a point. There will be a point. From that point, this enzyme cannot move back. So the enzyme will be actually blocked by this chain of glycogen. So there is a very important concept. This glycogen phosphorylase cannot break about 4 glucose. That is tetrasaccharide. Okay, tetrasaccharide. It cannot break that tetrasaccharide. Okay, and this tetrasaccharide will be there. It cannot be broken down by this glycogen, because glycogen phosphorylase requires a place to attach here. Okay, to attach, then it will cut. So that is why what will happen, this last 4 glucose molecule will be transferred by some other enzymes. It will come and it will, the 3 peptide, except the last, that is 1,6 bond, this bond here, except that all the peptide will be transferred here by the second enzyme. This enzyme, because it transfer a part of glucose, this is called glucan transferase. And then after transferring, you can see, I will delete everything here. So there will be only one glucose. So the same protein has second enzyme activity. The enzyme is called debranching enzyme. In glycogen synthesis, we have seen branching, here is debranching. So this debranching enzyme removes this. And then free glucose will be released like that. So this is overview of glucose breakdown. Then here glycogen phosphorylase will be able to act here. It will cut here, and then it will go on up to the branching, 4, it will leave again, it will leave the 4 glucose up to the branching. Okay, so this is how glycogen phosphorylase, in glycogen breakdown, this glycogen phosphorylase is very important enzyme, you have to remember. The second enzyme you can remember collectively as debranching enzyme. Okay, glucose transferase and debranching, both you can remember as debranching enzyme. Okay, so this is glycogen synthesis and glycogen breakdown overview. The main important enzyme in glycogen synthesis is glycogen synthetase, and main important enzyme in glycogen breakdown is glycogen phosphorylase. And then I put this picture here. You can see this glycogen synthesis that happens in fed condition. This is, you can take it as revision. So this is happens in fed condition. Insulin in beta cell will cause glucose uptake. Glucose will cause release of insulin, high glucose. So this insulin will cause glycogen synthesis. So what happens in glycogen? This is an uphill reaction. So what will happen? You can see this glucose from glucose transporter enter, and this glucose will convert into glucose 6-phosphate. Glucose 6-phosphate will convert into glucose 1-phosphate by enzyme. You can see one. This is one enzyme, 1 carbon. Glucose 1-phosphate by enzyme called mutase. Which mutase? Phosphorylated glucose. So phosphoglucomutase. This phosphoglucomutase is, you can take it as first enzyme, or you can take it as second enzyme, no problem. So I will take it as second enzyme, no problem, because first enzyme is glucokinase. So here what will happen is this UTP will come, and this is UTP will be added here. So this is a transferase. So simple uridyl transferase. UTP means uridyl transferase. So you can easily remember transfer, that is why uridyl transferase. Now glycogen in G for glycogen auto catalysis will happen and elongate the chain. Then the glycogen synthase will come, and then it will proceed. It will do the function further after this. So it will now polymerize this a short part of glycogen residue, it will polymerize like this. After polymerization, a bit longer chain has been polymerized. After a longer chain has been polymerized, what will happen? A short segment of about 7 glucose will be transferred here. For example, more than 12 glucose residue has been polymerized, then there will be transfer of glucose by branching enzyme here. And then branching, after transferring, this will be branched. So this I have shown only one step. But what will happen? Again, the same thing will happen here. So same molecule will come, polymerization by glycogen synthesis. This cycle goes on. And because of this cycle goes on in multiple steps, so you can see, you can get in your liver cell the glycogen like this. So this type of glycogen, I have only shown only one glycogen in, okay? So you can remember there is 2 glycogen in. You can remember. So this is how glycogen will be synthesized. And then, so opposite processes, glycogen breakdown, pretty easy. The downhill reaction, conceptually, this is high uphill reaction, this is downhill reaction. Then downhill reaction, what is the enzyme? Glycogen phosphorylase. So you already know glycogen phosphorylase is an enzyme with X, cutting the branches, chopping the pieces of the branching and coming towards the branch side, because this is a very intelligent enzyme. See, what the fool people will do, people will sit here and cut here. But this is a very intelligent enzyme. See, he sits here and cut here so that he will not fall. You can use a metaphor to remember things. Okay, very intelligent enzyme. And at last he got stuck. And then after it is not able to cut that branch, so then comes the second enzyme. This is a dual enzymatic property protein, which has got debranching enzyme inside it and glucan transferase enzyme. So this enzyme will actually do the function of, further it will remove the part of branch and put this branch here, and then again glycogen phosphorylase will be able to break the bond here again. So this is how glycogen phosphorylase will also happen in cycle. So this is one step. So this cycle will continue many times and glycogen will be degraded. So this is glycogen degradation. And then you can see the glycogen degradation product is not plain glucose. It is glucose 1-phosphate. Okay. So you can see glucose 1-phosphate directly will be converted into glucose 6-phosphate. And in muscle, this glucose 6-phosphate can directly be utilized for energy production in muscle, but in liver, so this glucose 6-phosphate will be converted into glucose, and glucose will enter blood, and in blood what will happen? It will reach brain RBC. So this is the whole mechanism of glycogen metabolism. So you already know many things. So you can see this is uphill reaction, glycogen breakdown is downhill reaction. You can see downhill reaction means fasting condition. It will happen during fasting condition. Generally catabolism happen during fasting condition under influence of glucagon, high CAMP, high protein kinase, high phosphorylase, and then glucokinase in liver. Glucokinase in liver and hexokinase in muscle. Activation will be the step. This step will be first step. You can call it activation of to glucose, UDP glucose. Then after activation, there will be primer glucose synthesis, glycogen synthesis. This is initiation. You can call it polymerization then, and then branching. So this is how the process progresses. So, and then this glycogen 6-phosphatase, this is absent in muscle, because I told you this will be utilized by muscle. Muscle don't need to increase the blood glucose concentration. Because of this, because this is absent in muscle will utilize all its glucose for himself only. So this is and this calcium also increases because contracting muscle will utilize glucose. That is why you can imagine the context in that contracting muscle. So in that contracting muscle, this calcium level becomes very high, and that is why this calcium is also very strong stimulator of this glycogenolysis in addition to this glucagon. In exercise, calcium, these are the stimulator of glycogen breakdown. So glucagon, exercise, calcium, all, because exercise is also linked with calcium, muscle contraction and calcium. Glucagon, calcium, these are the activator of glycogen breakdown in muscle. Okay, glucagon is only activator in liver. So now you have already got an idea about glycogen metabolism. So it will be very easy for you to talk about glycogen metabolism now. So I don't have to explain. You can tell me. So can you understand? Goes for many cycles, and because of this polymerization and branching, the glycogen will be a huge molecules like this. Granular, three-dimensional. It is, though it is two-dimensional, three-dimensional, and glycogen in at the center. So this is glycogen synthesis. Remember. Now, after glycogen synthesis has been completed, so main important enzyme of glycogen synthesis is glycogen synthase. Rate limiting enzyme is glycogen synthesis. And what is the problem? It cannot initiate glycogen synthesis the same way DNA polymerase cannot initiate. Here, alpha 1,4 bond formation. So alpha 1,4 bond formation is only the property of glycogen synthase. The glycogen synthase cannot form alpha 1,6 bond formation. So the property of alpha 1,6 bond formation is branching enzyme has the property of formation of alpha 1,6 bond. Branching enzyme will form this alpha 1,6 bond, not glycogen synthase. And then that is why this is the separate importance of significance of. We'll talk about this glycogen storage diseases. Then there are disorder where you will see deficiency of branching enzyme, not in terms of glycogen is in this storage disease. This enzyme is more important than this, because there is a condition where you will find the deficiency of branching enzyme called Cory's disease. Okay, so we'll talk about that. Phosphoglucose mutase is activated by this enzyme. Okay, so it is not that difficult to understand phosphoglucose mutase. You know, I will tell you this. So you can see this phosphoglucose mutase. This is an enzyme. When you have very high amount of substrate, this glucose 6-phosphate will convert into fructose 1,6-bisphosphate, and this will actually give a signal. Okay, we are very high in the cell, so you can polymerize this glucose into this, and you can see this once glucose converts into glucose 1-phosphate. So this is destined to polymerization. This is destined for this glycogen synthesis. That is why you can say this is a destined step. So this glucose, this fructose 1,6-bisphosphate is a stimulator. And you remember, this is also a stimulator of glycolysis. This stimulates one enzyme that is called pyruvate kinase.